Now your microclimate forecast with meteorologist Natasha Stenbock.
I wish we could open up the side door here to the studio. We can hear the rain pouring down on our rooftop right now. That's what you will continue to see this morning as we look closer at our live Doppler radar imagery. Heavy downpours at times with little breaks in between. This is a fast-moving storm, although it's going to stick around with us for at least 3 days. So flash flooding definitely a possibility, which is one of the reasons why we have a flash flood watch in effect from the coast to our inland valleys. Meanwhile, we can see where we have the yellow, that's where we have the heavier rain, sometimes falling at a rate of about a ½ inch an hour to as much as an inch an hour. Along with that, some strong winds already gusting upwards of 20 miles per hour in places like Kearney, Mesa, Montgomery Field, Miramar. Flash flood watch in effect all the way through Sunday morning. Wind advisory in effect through this evening. High wind warning is in effect for our mountain and desert areas, and big surf also a concern, giving us a coastal flood warning along with a high surf advisory, which begins tomorrow, where surf could be as high as about 10 to 14 feet, something we don't see every day. Right now, we're looking at a northwest swell building at about 4 to 6 feet, upwards of 8 feet. Also a gale warning in effect for coastal waters from near shore to about 60 nautical miles offshore. Water temperature is 62 degrees, which is also our air temperature. Feels very comfortable outside despite the rain. High tide will be at 8 o'clock this morning, negative low tide about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Putting this map into motion here the next 36 hours, we continue with the rain pretty much nonstop all the way through Saturday evening. With that, a possibility of thunderstorms, even water spouts offshore, turning into tornadoes locally onshore. So today is going to probably be the most active day for us. The next 12 hours, our temperatures don't change a whole lot. Low 60s continue all the way through this evening. Inland valley temperatures also getting up to about 62, stopping there. Mountain areas not cold enough to see the snow just yet. Have to wait until Saturday night. Snow levels by then could drop down to about 6,000 feet.
Now your microclimate forecast with meteorologist Natasha Stenbock.
Good morning. Looking outside live right now, we have raindrops falling on our camera lens. This is Mount Soledad, believe it or not. You can't see a whole lot. Visibility in many places down to about a ½ mile to 3/4 of a mile. Rain is going to be an issue for us, no doubt, this morning. At times we're getting heavy downpours. Temperature is pretty comfortable at 63 degrees. Wind, though, really strong already out of the south at about 22 miles per hour. Relative humidity, 88%. Pressure is still falling. So we continue with the rain this morning. Your temperatures in our mountain areas not cold enough to see any snow locally. You'd have to go a little bit further north, up above 9,000 feet. That's where the freezing level is right now. Some tropical moisture associated with this storm. One of the reasons why we're feeling these warmer than usual temperatures this time in the morning. It's 50 degrees right now in Julian. Here's a center of low pressure sitting several hundred miles offshore. It's very well defined. This system going to stay with us at least for the next 2.5 to 3 days. So that's why we're talking about flooding being a very good possibility with that flash flood watch in effect now. That includes the coastline all the way to our inland valleys. Here's a closer picture of our county. You can see pretty much everywhere we're in the green. Zooming in a little bit closer to look at some of those stronger rainfall rates at about 1/3 of an inch an hour. All the way from Pacific Beach, University City out to Santee, we've seen some heavy downpours here in the last few minutes. Strong winds driving it out of the south about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So quick mover, but lots of rain, lots of moisture out there sitting offshore. Possibility of thunderstorms today associated with this area of low pressure. As we get to Sunday early in the morning, that's when this system begins to weaken. Winds won't be quite as strong, and our downpours will turn to more of a light sheet of rain instead. So by the time we get to Sunday night, we'll be wrapping the system up. Until then, expect this turbulent weather to stay with us, especially today and into tomorrow, with the possibility of thunderstorms, even water spouts. Isolated water spouts are a possibility as we get through the next 5 to 6 hours. As we move into Monday, back to sunny skies. The temperatures will eventually rebound to the upper 60s to low 70s out there. Now, Saturday evening for our mountain areas could be cold enough to see snow as low as about 6,000 feet, which means some of our local mountains may get a little bit of a dusting, anywhere from about 1 to 3 inches. Now, where we're going to see a bigger impact with snow will be in our higher elevations. Our local mountain areas, places like Big Bear, could pick up 1 to 3 feet of snow from this system by the time we get to the end of this on Sunday. Higher elevations right around 7,000 feet, especially a lot of snow there. Daytime highs this weekend in places like Julian will be in the mid to low 40s.
Now your microclimate forecast with meteorologist Natasha Stenbock.
Good morning. Waking up to more of this. Wet roads all over the place and gusty winds in the downtown area right now. Visibility down to about 2.5 miles, 63 degrees San Diego. Wind out of the south at 22 miles per hour. That's a sustained wind speed. That means that's constant. Occasionally we're getting gusts upwards of 25 to even 30 miles per hour for some of our inland valley locations. Relative humidity 88%, nearly saturated out there. And as we take a look at the big picture, this is our area of low pressure. A very strong Pacific storm is making its way onshore. We're already feeling the effects, but we haven't even felt the worst of it yet. This could be one of the strongest storms we've had in a couple of years. Last one delivering this much rain that we're anticipating back in 2010, remember Fashion Valley? We had all those parking lots flooding out. People lost their cars as a result. We could see a repeat performance. As we look at the live Doppler radar imagery, we're seeing a little bit of a break just momentarily here, Oceanside and through Encinitas, Del Mar, San Diego. Looking at our next round of rain here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Precipitation rates at about a ½ inch an hour. We can see throughout Valley Center, soaked right now. And because of the light rain that we had yesterday, our ground is already saturated. That's why flooding is a concern. And more rain sitting offshore, making its way here in the next few minutes into Coronado, Imperial Beach, and downtown San Diego into North Park. Looking at our surface map, as we put into motion this afternoon, a possibility of thunderstorms, even water spouts, gale warnings in effect, high wind warnings in effect because of our pressure differences taking place, and we're tapping into subtropical moisture with this system. That's why we're talking about rainfall rates in excess of 1 inch an hour. Rainfall totals by the time we get to Sunday could be as much as 3 to 5 inches, even upwards of 8 to 10 inches in some of our foothill and mountain locations, especially on those southwest facing slopes. That's the direction of the wind, so when it hits the side of the mountains, that's where some of the heaviest rain will be falling. We'll be wrapping up the rain though by the time we get to Sunday evening. Until then, if you have any patio furniture, anything outside you don't want blowing away, bring it inside now while you can. As we get to next Monday and Tuesday, back to mostly sunny skies, and kind of we'll forget about the rain that we had and get back to high pressure with temperatures on the rise in the middle of next week, closer to 70 degrees at the coast. Inland valleys will be in the low to mid 60s all the way through the weekend, with overnight lows in the upper 40s. Monday and Tuesday, we get back to the low 70s with more sunshine on the way. Mountain areas, also a chance of thunderstorm activity today into tomorrow. Overnight temperatures Saturday could be low enough that we'll see snow levels down to about 6,000 feet. So places like Mount Laguna will be seeing a few snowflakes, but Julian more than likely missing out because this is a warmer system moving through. Places like Big Bear certainly looking ahead to some nice new snow over the weekend, anywhere from about 1 to 3 feet possible. Yes, it is, Jeff, and I'm so sorry you have to stand outside, and it's some really strong winds out there. We want to take you to our 3D Doppler live and show you what's taking place right now. We had a long line of heavy rain sitting offshore, has now made its way onshore, impacting Oceanside up through Fallbrook into Vista and eventually into Rainbow. Precipitation rates at about 1.25 inches so far, falling just south of Lake Elsinore, even picking up hail in Fontana outside of San Bernardino north of Riverside at about 1/4 inch in size. Now, as we look ahead to the next 3D model, we can show you the tops of those clouds anywhere from 25,000 to 30,000 feet tall. Whenever we see this, we get a good indication that we have a strong updraft, which means thunderstorms in the vicinity. So do watch out for that. That's still a possibility embedded within that long line of heavy rain. Precipitation rate upwards of 2 inches an hour just outside of Oceanside into Camp Pendleton. A lot taking place right now, and still more watches and warnings have been issued for good portions of the county. We continue with heavy rain, more thunderstorms throughout the day. We'll have an update for you coming up in a few minutes. Dan and Michelle, back to you.
Now your microclimate forecast with meteorologist Natasha Stenbock.
All right, Natasha, we're all up in it.
A lot going on here just within the last half hour. We're seeing thunderstorms, hail north of us. We have a flash flood warning for the northwestern corner.
You've got the
of
wind.
Everything you can imagine. So let's get right to it and show you what's happening so far. As we go into the 3D Doppler live, we just want to give you kind of a vertical image of what the clouds are looking like so far. The tops are pretty tall at this point, anywhere from about 25 to 30,000 feet tall. Where we have taller clouds, that indicates to us there's strong updrafts, which also indicates a good possibility of thunderstorm activity. We've already started to see thunderstorm activity developing to the north of us. Want to show you how significant this storm is. Look at this area of low pressure gosh, if it isn't just reminiscent of what looks like a hurricane on the other side of our globe. This is incredible. It's very well defined, and it's going to continue to stay with us at least for the next 2 to 3 days. Looking in a little bit closer, you can see this long line of thunderstorms moving just outside of our county up through Temecula, just outside of Temecula into Riverside County. So they're seeing hail the size of about 1/4 of an inch. So that's pretty significant. That's enough that you could get some damage there on your car, especially hitting the windshield or your paint, if nothing else. Right now, it's 66 degrees downtown San Diego. This is not a typo. Yes, the wind is out of the south at 30 miles per hour. Relative humidity, 83%. Your pressure is holding steady right now. Temperature is pretty universal all the way to our inland valleys, mid to low 60s, mountains mid to upper 40s. Looking at this map in motion as we get through tomorrow, continuing with more rain, heavy at times, and even through tomorrow a chance of thunderstorm activity. Now we get to early Sunday morning, we'll start to get a little bit of a break for some parts of the county. Wind will relax a little bit more, so what's left over for Sunday will be light to moderate rain, not as severe as what we're expecting continuing into today and Saturday. Big waves today, about 4 to 6 feet, getting even bigger tomorrow, and that's when a high surf advisory goes into effect. Some big waves anywhere from about 10 to 12 feet possible tomorrow. Along with that, a gale warning's in effect, so if you have any plans to be on a boat today, cancel them and cancel them again tomorrow. High tide already taking place here. Low tide will be about 3 o'clock this afternoon. That'll be a negative low tide. We'll have more details on your weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, we want to get a check on traffic with Phil Constantine.
Now, your microclimate forecast with meteorologist Natasha Stenbock.
You know, wild weather outside, but you don't necessarily need to be on the water.
You don't, it's kind of a good idea to maybe not be in the water
Just
today.
avoid it altogether, but not really the case with some people.
Not everyone.
Once you start talking about big waves, that's all they hear is big waves.
Going out. Doesn't matter what else is going on. There's a gale warning out there, not to mention a flash flood warning for the coastline, and tomorrow a high surf advisory begins. But some folks just can't help themselves. Look at that. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and do a little kiteboarding. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kiteboard, even though it's gusting to 35 miles per hour. It doesn't matter. I'm so pro, I can handle this. Well, you can see. Photojournalist Bruce Patch caught this on tape. You know what? They're doing all right. They're doing all right. We don't know how that ends, but at least for the few moments that we caught this on camera, they were doing okay. All right, experts only out there in the water today and tomorrow. It's 64 degrees, so it feels very comfortable out there. You don't even need a jacket necessarily, just an umbrella or at least a hoodie or something. Winds out of the south, sustained at 32 miles per hour. Relative humidity, 88%. Pressure is holding steady right now. Look at this nice circulation right here, this big area low pressure, really strong Pacific storm. Haven't had this strong in a few years. In fact, the last time we saw a storm of this magnitude was December of 2010, when we had major flooding in places like Fashion Valley, Mission Valley. So possibility we could see a repeat with this particular storm. Looking at the live Doppler radar imagery, what's popping up in orange and yellow showing us stronger rainfall rates. As we zoom in a little bit closer, we can see places like Del Mar here in the next 14 minutes. This next cell is going to be making its way onshore as it moves from the southeast, and as it moves from the southwest out to the northeast. It will continue to impact our coastal regions first. That's why a flash flood warning is now in effect for the coastline. And as we zoom a little bit closer to the North County, places like Oceanside have been getting hammered. Rainfall rates now just a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch an hour. So we're going to see fluctuations like that as long as this area of low pressure is in place, which it will be at least through tomorrow, moving into Sunday. Even Sunday, looking at rain still sticking with us. However, the instability won't be as severe. That'll be the change for us. Winds will begin to relax as we get into early Sunday morning. But you can see most of the state still dealing with the wet weather and plenty of brand new snow for the Sierra Nevada mountains. That's exciting news. As we check out your weekend forecast, still a possibility of thunderstorms tomorrow. Sunday it tapers off. Monday back to sunshine. Inland valleys, temperatures in the mid-60s. If you're looking for snow locally, you'll have to go to higher elevations, especially right now, but by tomorrow night it could be as low as about 6,000 to 5,500 feet. Best chance to see any snow locally would be overnight, Saturday night into early Sunday morning. Looking for clearing for everyone into Monday and Tuesday of next week. Be careful out there and watch out for those strong winds. Dan and Michelle, back to you.
Oh, your microclimate forecast with meteorologist Natasha Stenbock.
All right, Natasha, we see you all bundled up out there in OB trying to stay dry.
Yeah, you know, a hooded jacket will do you just fine. At least the temperature is warm enough out here. You could easily be out in shorts just as long as you have something to cover your head. Let's take a look at our current conditions and also what it's been like so far out here in Ocean Beach. Waves are big, I can tell you that much. People still out getting around and just trying to be doing a little bit of a spectator sport, taking a look at those who are actually still surfing out here. So as we look at your current conditions here, downtown Skycam, it's 63 degrees. And the wind is relatively calm right now. Let's take a look at the video that we had from earlier here at Ocean Beach. You can see at times it was coming down pretty good. And then it'll taper off. It's kind of an ebb and flow taking place here. Really light at times, almost more of a mist, and then all of a sudden it picks up in intensity. And we are having planes landing at Lindbergh coming out from the west, and they're landing to the east because of the low cloud deck here at about 600 feet. So relative humidity right now, 82%. Your pressure is rising. Looking at your currents elsewhere across the county here, we're holding on to the low 60s. Pretty uniform with this cloud coverage. A little bit cooler in our mountains. Julian right now 49, Mount Laguna 45 degrees. You can see these temperatures too warm to see any snow locally. You'd have to get above 7,000 feet to see any snow from this latest round of rain. So next 36 hours, we're expecting Big Bertha to arrive late tonight into tomorrow morning. So we're talking about heavy amounts of rain all at once, possibility of thunderstorms, strong winds, as well as really big surf. Today's highs are only going to reach the mid-60s. We'll get a little bit of a break from the rain later on this afternoon. And then as we get to late tonight, about 9, 10 o'clock, you can expect heavier showers to make their way onshore. Surf today, about 4 to 6 feet. We're going to see it increase every single day through Saturday. Saturday, we could top 10 to 14 feet. So certainly some dangerous conditions out there for you as we progress and get closer to this next storm, round number 2. Now back out here live, Ocean Beach. Everything's looking pretty nice so far. Everyone's still trying to enjoy the great outdoors while they can. We'll have more on your forecast coming up in just a bit, but for right now, we're going to go ahead and send on over to Phil for your traffic. Yeah, Jeff, well, as you know, standing outside, whether you're getting a little bit of drizzle or light rain, no matter what, it's going to make problems out there on the roadways. In terms of how much we're expecting tomorrow and heading into the weekend, downpours begin this evening. At the end, by Sunday, we could count up upwards of 5 inches of rain. Where you're going to see the most of it, though, will be in our mountain areas, anywhere from 3 to 5 inches there. Along the coast to our inland valleys, you can expect anywhere from about 1 to 3 inches by the time the storm is done, wrapping it up on Sunday. Until then, we've accumulated so far about 1/10 of an inch of rain, continuing to see light rainfall across the county as we look at the live Doppler radar imagery. And even right here in Ocean Beach, it's light at times. I'd call it a drizzle. Hard to see right here on the Doppler radar imagery, but where you are seeing the darker green, that's where we're picking up rain at the rate of about 1/4 of an inch an hour. So again, our foothill locations and mountain areas on the southwest facing slopes, that's where you'll get the best rainfall rates at this point. Forecast for rainfall rates as we head into the early morning hours could be anywhere from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch rainfall falling per hour. Expecting the heaviest amounts to come through tomorrow, especially with the chance of thunderstorms in the mix. That's where you could get heavy downpours, which would be one of the reasons why we will have a flash flood watch go into effect starting tonight from the coast to our inland valleys, along with wind advisories and high wind watches in effect for mountain areas all the way to our deserts. So coastal winds picking up tomorrow morning could exceed 35 miles per hour. We'll have more on your forecast coming up in just a bit. For now, let's get a check on traffic with Phil Constantine. And light rain now, but downpours expected later. One of the kind of storms you only see every 5 to 10 years. That story coming up. CBS News 8 at 11 is next.
Microclimate forecast with meteorologist Natasha Stenbock.
Well, the rain that we've been seeing throughout much of the county, just a little teaser for what we are expecting tomorrow and really throughout the weekend. Natasha, what is the latest?
Well, so far we've seen really light amounts of rain here at Ocean Beach, but every time the wind picks up a little bit, it just drives it right into your face. So I'm trying to stand away from the wind at this point. So far, we picked up about 1/10 of an inch of rain across the county. Of course, higher amounts, right around 1/4 of an inch for some of our foothill locations, especially on those southwest-facing slopes. So as we look at your sky cam here, downtown San Diego, it's 63 degrees. You can see there still low cloud coverage. They're landing from the west into Lindbergh Field this morning. And your relative humidity at this point is on the upswing, and winds are picking up out of the south at about 6 miles per hour. So as we look at your Doppler radar imagery, where else we're seeing the rain around the county, it's been, again, pretty light at best. It will continue to fluctuate throughout the rest of this morning. We can see your mountain areas, foothills up through Escondido, and just south of Ramona, right around El Cajon, Lakeside, Santee. Been seeing some light showers move on through. That'll continue to be the theme throughout this morning, and as we get to about 1, 2 o'clock, we're going to start to see those clouds break up and even a little bit of sunshine in the mix. At about that time, winds are going to start to die down. Then they'll pick up once again. Here's your surface map as we put it into motion, what we're expecting from the next latest storm. And I say storm, and I mean storm. This is no exaggeration. We're talking about rainfall rates that are going to exceed 1/2 inch per hour at times, and even more locally where we have thunderstorms. Rainfall totals could be anywhere from 1 to 3 inches along the coast and our further inland mountain areas. That's where rainfall totals could exceed even 5 inches by the time the storm is done. Why so much? Because it's going to be staying with us at least through Sunday. Along with that, it has a lot of instability, picking up on that subtropical moisture, which is one of the reasons why we're going to have so much rain in this period of time. Strong winds also, and big surf. That's another big concern for us. Biggest surf for us will be on Saturday, anywhere from 10 to 14 feet. A gale warning will go into effect. Flash flood watches, and also, of course, strong winds. Daytime highs are going to pretty much be consistent here in the low to mid 60s. Sandbags, you might want to pick a few of those up, especially if you're in some of those more rain-prone areas. So there's your locations: Kearney Mesa, Scripps Ranch, Ocean Beach, also Sports Arena, one of those places where you can pick up those sandbags. So be sure to get it done this afternoon while you can, because we'll be having a break from the rain. You can get out and get those errands done, and then hunker down for tonight when we expect the first round of rain to come on through. That's it for your forecast. Now we'll send it back to you inside.
Now your microclimate forecast with meteorologist Natasha Stenbock.
5 o'clock somewhere, man. Cannot wait for this weekend to begin, huh?
It's
For us,
good.
it's right there.
Yeah,
all right.
It's nice. Yesterday we moved into the 80s. We're going to get close again today. Right now, inland valleys are already moving into the mid 70s, and along the coast, getting rid of those clouds on our way to a little more sunshine. You can see just a little bit of haze hanging around over downtown San Diego. Our point of view from Mount Soledad, looking to the south with downtown in the distance there. Your temperature right now is 70 degrees. Wind is calm. Relative humidity 44%. Pressure is holding steady. So looking at your temperatures a little bit further inland, Ramona's already at 78. We have 73 Miramar and Alpine, 76 in Escondido, 74 Oceanside Airport. So for today's temperatures, we're easily going to be hanging around the low 80s mark by this afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. And coastal temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 70s. We've been hearing about the weather on the East Coast. We had this warm Gulf air move in from the south, combined with cold Arctic air. A lot of snow has fallen so far, places like Wisconsin and Minnesota, and even talking about the possibility of severe thunderstorms, if not tornadoes, hitting parts of the East Coast. At this point, haven't had any official reports of tornadoes touching down there. Take a look. Some of our News 8 viewers in Minnesota showing us this picture. Almost a foot of snow in less than 24 hours. Incredible. Their weather's going to be improving. However, as the snow goes away, their temperatures also drop, going to be in the single digits over the next few days. Meanwhile, we've been dealing with really nice conditions under high pressure. Winds are not as strong today. We'll be monitoring this next disturbance out here in the eastern Pacific with the possibility of bringing us the R word, yeah, something we haven't seen in quite some time. Rain, it could be a possibility as we get to the middle of next week. Until then, you can expect partly cloudy skies with temperatures along the coast in the low 70s again tomorrow. By Sunday, dropping off a few more degrees, so perhaps some light sweater kind of weather Sunday into Monday with some patchy fog for you in the early morning, but by the afternoon, some sunshine. Low 70s expected, so even cooler tomorrow inland. We're going to stick with the low 70s all the way through Monday and then dropping off those temperatures even more so the middle of the week. We'll have your 8-day forecast coming up in a few minutes. Let's get a check on traffic now with Phil Constantine.